Hello, this is Annalisa from Faith Dream Crate, and welcome back to my channel. You're watching my Christmas card series for 2024. I'll be using this stamp set from Stamping Bella, and this is the Uptown Winter Family stamp set. Super, super cute. You could definitely cut out some more little kids and add to this as well, and then it comes with the dog. So I'm going to stamp this out with my stamping platform and then use some VersaFine black onyx ink so I can do some watercoloring, because my go-to coloring medium right now is the Tim Holtz watercolor pencils, which I am loving. So I'm going to do some fun coloring with those. So just stamping this out, and then we can get to that watercoloring. So I'm going to do a fun design on the jacket for the dad in the family here. I'm going to do a red and black buffalo check pattern. It's not perfect, but I had a lot of fun thinking outside the box with this design. I typically stick to just one color, so it was fun to experiment and add some designs in this, or maybe I will add like some polka dots or something, or swirls after, but it was fun to add in this buffalo check pattern with the watercolor pencils. So I am using the pattern here as a guide, but you can totally do any colors you like. I don't stick to the colors exactly, but the guide is great even just to figure out, oh, is this the arm or is this part of the leg? Because sometimes when it's black and white, it's hard to tell really what is going on in the picture with all of these small details. So it's definitely helpful to take a look at the sample that comes with the packaging. So this is so therapeutic for me to just sit down and color these images and then add the water after. I love how this came together. And I will be doing a few things off camera, which I will be explaining in a little bit. Let me know down below in the comments, what is your favorite card making technique and way to color your images when you stamp them. Definitely curious to know. I go back and forth between coloring mediums. Right now I'm all about the watercolor pencils, and then I have Spectrum markers and a few Copics, but loving the watercolor pencils. I do also love to watercolor with distress inks. I have the mini cubes. I love to use those distress inks to watercolor. What is my favorite technique? My favorite technique is stamping and then using the embossing powder to raise up the ink and then melting it. I just love the whole process of embossing stamped images or sentiments. That's probably my favorite technique, if I had to pick just one. So getting this coloring done, I love seeing this image come to life from black and white. And I do go ahead and add my own faces in, because they do not come with the face on here. You could definitely leave it. I go ahead and add in my face and details with the Memento Tuxedo black marker, and that is how I add the details back in after I've watercolored. I find that you lose a lot of those details when you are coloring. Whatever medium it is, I find you lose those details. So I like to go one step further and outline the image again with that Memento Tuxedo black pen. Yes, it is time consuming, but it really does make a difference in the finished image, I find. And then I also go one step further and use the Memento Tuxedo brush tip and brush around the edges if I have fussy cut it out, and that just finishes off the edges and just makes it look better. Totally not necessary, but it is a step that I like to do so that the project looks finished and done on your finished card or scrapbook page or whatever you are using the image for. So now I'm going back in with the water brush here and just adding that water in and giving it that watercolored look and making this family, this stamped family, come to life even more with the watercolor effect. Making sure that I dab the brush off in between colors so that they do not smudge together. Love the watercolor process as well. So, are you into card making season now? Have you started your Christmas cards? Have you started making them? Or do you start making them early on in the year? Or do you make Christmas cards throughout the whole year? I definitely start making Christmas cards around November, maybe October, and some in July, and a few in summer, but I typically don't start till the last minute. I don't send out a lot of Christmas cards. I give out a lot, but I just create them as I go and what I'm inspired to do. But sometimes I'm just not ready to make Christmas cards until after fall when I'm in that Christmas mode. But what about you? So here is that Memento Tuxedo black pen that I mentioned. I do the outlining, and this is the brush tip that I do the edges, and I just bring the lines back to life after it has been colored. So this is a embossing folder from Simon Says Stamp and their Rainbow Splash line. I'm just using the Tim Holtz paper cutter to trim this down. I ran it through my Big Shot machine, and then I'm going to add a background border to this as well because I felt like it needed a little bit more color. And this is the sentiment set that I will be using, and I think I lost the footage for the sentiment when I was stamping it and embossing it, but you will see it as we go. So adding the embossing panel onto this fun blue color, going to make a border. I'm going to use the paper cutter a little bit and then the scissors because the paper cutter intimidates me, and I don't know, for me, I just always can't make the paper cutter work, and I feel like I get a better border with the scissors. Maybe I'm crazy, but that is what works for me. So I use the paper cutter as much as I can, but then do a little bit of trimming with my scissors. I always feel like I'm going to trim too close on the border. I can't be the only one. So getting this down to fit my card base, and I'm using the Simon Says Stamp fine detail scissors for this. You could use whatever scissors works for you, but this is what I'm using. So getting that border down to where I want it, then I can glue this panel down to my card base and then glue the stamped and colored family down, and then work on the sentiment, which I will just be putting down off camera because I'm pretty sure I did film it, but cannot find that footage. So sometimes in the busyness of life, I forget to hit record. So what I did for the sentiment is I just stamped it on the blue, used some Simon Says Stamp white embossing powder, and then heat set that with my heat tool to bring that white in and then raise up the ink. And then I'm just using some pops of color to add in a little bit more of that blue, and I will go ahead and flick it to make these pops of color a little bit flatter, and then that is going to finish up the card once the pops of color are all done. And I love the sentiment. It says warm Christmas blessings when this family is all bundled up, getting ready for Christmas or enjoying the Christmas cheer. Maybe they're out at the Christmas lights all bundled up, looking at Christmas lights in their neighborhood or their local Christmas lights set up in the park. so cozy, such a fun Christmas winter card. So I'm just flicking these dots to make them flat, and then I will show you the finished project at the end here. So thank you so much for watching today's video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. I would love to have you join me here. Here on my channel, I share card making videos, Bible journaling DIYs, and now junk journaling. I just got into junk journaling, so I'm hoping to share more junk journaling in the new year. So definitely stick around and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.